everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elena, if you haven't been here before. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience having a tonsillectomy, and if you don't know what that is, then it is the removal of your tonsils. I'm going to kind of talk about how the surgery went, how the prep for the surgery went, what I did afterwards, how the pain was, because I know going into that surgery I was terrified, and if you're watching this and you're gonna get a tonsillectomy, then you probably are too, so I feel you there. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Starting kind of the reason I had my tonsillectomy just quickly was I was getting strep throat recurrently, which is an infection of your tonsils, and I would have these weird stones. They're like little buds of bacteria and stuff called tonsil stones, and I would have those stuck in my tonsils a lot, and it would just cause bacteria to grow, and then strep throat would kind of come after that. And there was a period of 2 or 3 months where I just couldn't get rid of the strep, and I went to a ear, nose, and throat doctor, and the doctor just kind of told me that he would either pull them out there, or I could do it myself at home, or he just recommended I get a tonsillectomy to fix it entirely. So I scheduled my tonsillectomy with an ear, nose, and throat doctor. He decided, or the way he was going to do it was he was going to burn them out. So they use these electrodes and they kind of burn the skin and it cauterizes it so it doesn't bleed right when it happens. But there's another way to do it where they cut your tonsils out, and that I've heard hurts worse. So what I'm saying is kind of from my perspective, having it burnt out. So preparing for the surgery, I was super nervous about everything. I looked up on so many websites what to do, how to prepare, how bad it hurt. I had heard from so many people how painful it was, how they couldn't swallow, they still can't swallow the same. It was pretty scary going up to the date of the surgery, but obviously I knew I had to have it, so I couldn't really do anything about it. So some of the things that I kind of did before the surgery to make sure that I would be good: they don't let you eat until or within 12 hours before the surgery. So I made sure I ate right before that 12-hour mark just so my stomach would be full and I wouldn't be really hungry, because I knew I wouldn't be able to eat much after I had the surgery. I read online that having a humidifier would really help at night when you were sleeping, because you're laying on your back and it hurts. So I had my dad buy a humidifier for when I was at home and at night before that happened. But in terms of prep before, I just did a lot of reading, and I'll kind of talk about what I did after the surgery that helped. But in terms of prep, there wasn't really a ton of stuff, just because I mean, the surgery's not done yet. So that's about that. In terms of foods and drinks, I didn't really buy much. I mean, I wasn't planning on eating or drinking much, and I kind of waited to see after my surgery what I could stand to eat, instead of buying in bulk a bunch of things and then not being able to eat them. I had my surgery November 22nd, 2016, so it's been 2.5 months since my surgery now. And obviously I'm fine. I'm still here and alive. So the day of the surgery, I went in, I was really nervous, shaking a lot. It's an outpatient surgery, so that means that you get it done and then you leave pretty soon after, at least until you're off of the medicine and stuff, but not too long after. I went in, they gave me an IV, they dressed me up. That was kind of fine. I had literally never had a surgery, never had an IV, never had anything like that, so I was definitely nervous to have all that happen for the first time, but it honestly wasn't that bad. The nurses were really kind. They understood the nerves that I had, so it wasn't bad. I went into the surgery room, they laid me on the table, and the last thing that I remember is counting down. I don't even know that I counted down. It was all a blur. But I woke up after the surgery and I was extremely groggy. I think it was the medicine. I'd never had anesthesia before. I'd never had that strong pain medicine before, so it definitely hit me hard. I wanted to go back to sleep so badly, but the nurse kept telling me that I had to wake up, which I was not happy about. but the second I woke up, I felt no pain at all, and I was really excited, but I knew that it was so important that I didn't get dehydrated, because it's very easy to get dehydrated when you're having a tonsillectomy, especially afterwards, because it hurts so much to swallow. So the first thing I did, the nurse asked if I wanted something to drink, and I said yes immediately, and she gave me apple juice. So before I even left the hospital, I think I drank 5 cups of apple juice and 4 or 5 cups of water, because I knew I could drink it and I wanted to fill my stomach. I was hungry, I hadn't had food, so it definitely helped then that I was giving myself the sugar of the apple juice plus the liquid and the water, just to make sure I wouldn't get dehydrated. And they asked how my pain was and if I needed more medicine, and I told them I did, so because it would hurt a bit. So that also helped, the fact that they would give me that pain medicine, so I knew I could drink while I was still there before I went home and had to deal with all of that. So right after that, it took about an hour and a half for me to finish the surgery, wake up, and then get out of the hospital. They wheeled me out. I made it on the way home. I was still really groggy. I mean, they don't let you drive home, but I definitely was not in a position to drive or do any physical activity at all. So I just sat in the passenger seat, got home, was still just really trying. I was on that pain medicine from the hospital, so immediately I went to eating ice cream and ice pops, and then I sort of started feeling the pain that I knew would come with the wearing off of the hospital pain medicine that they gave me. In terms of the medicine that they gave me to take while I was at home, they gave me 4 types of medicine, and I only used 3 of them. So they gave me one which was a steroid that was supposed to help with the swelling, and I would take that 5 times a day, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1 as the days progressed over my surgery. I didn't start that till the day after my surgery. The second one they gave me was a general hydrocodone, which they give a lot of people for many surgeries, so they said that should help with some of the pain, but then they also gave me, it was called celecoxib, and that was a pain medicine that the doctors there told me that they had found works best on tonsil pain, so the pain that I would be experiencing in the back of my throat, that worked better than hydrocodone, so I was on the hydrocodone and that every single day, and they said to start those 2 as soon as I got home and felt the pain. So I waited as long as I could, but then when I felt the pain come on, I just took it anyway, because I didn't want to try to be brave and wait and then have the pain come and have to wait for the medicine to work, which I would definitely recommend to do that. When you start feeling pain, take the medicine. Don't try to be brave, because you have massive sores in the back of your throat. So that day was honestly not that bad, and I had been told that the pain would get worse from the 2nd to the 5th day, and this was right before Thanksgiving, so I had a pretty miserable Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was 2 days after my surgery. The day after my surgery, I just kept taking the medicine. I was on a regimen where I would wake up in the middle of the night. I wouldn't sleep through the entire night. I would have to take my pain medicine anyway every 6 hours, and I would make sure I'd wake up in the middle of the night to drink some water, because I knew that there was a possibility of getting dehydrated, and I honestly couldn't sleep very well throughout this entire recovery time. It just felt uncomfortable more than anything. It was extremely uncomfortable and sometimes had a lot of pain, but it wasn't anything that I never thought I could handle. So that first night wasn't really that bad, honestly. I had the humidifier. A big thing for me throughout the night, during my recovery, was to make sure I sat sleeping up. When you sleep back, a lot of the debris in your throat falls to the back of your throat, and it's so sensitive back there and it dries out. So something that I made sure to do was kind of prop my head up and try to sleep that way. It wasn't the most comfortable, but it definitely helped with my sinuses. I don't know, it just honestly helped me a lot. So throughout the night, I didn't sleep a ton. I would sleep in increments of maybe 3 hours at a time, and then wake up, drink water, wake up, take my medicine, make sure I kept doing that. I had so many alarms on my phone throughout the night and the day just to keep taking medicine. And that was the first day. The second day after my surgery was a bit harder. It was Thanksgiving, and I had been having some mashed potatoes. I had been using ice pops, but the problem was that I had such swelling in my throat that I couldn't open my mouth really. So it took about, honestly, 2 weeks for me to open my mouth completely again. I couldn't talk much for the first 3 days, maybe even more, but especially 3 days I could barely open my mouth, which honestly it wasn't that bad. You know, you want to be quiet anyway, but I couldn't really talk at all. I would whisper, but I just couldn't open my mouth. When I would talk, it would cause my throat to vibrate too much, and it would really just hurt the back of my throat where the sores were. I spent those first few days just sitting on the couch, sleeping, kind of moping around. I didn't do much physical activity. You're really not supposed to. Some specific pointers that I would give for this time would just really be drink a lot of water all of the time, because it's going to help you a lot. Take your medicine as much as they give you, as long as you need it, because you're going to need it. Even if you don't think you do at the moment, just keep doing it until they're completely out, because it's going to benefit you in the long run. Also, try to have as much food as you can. Some foods that you really need to stay away from are anything acidic, anything salty, anything that you have to chew. Obviously, you want it to kind of melt in your mouth. You don't want to have to open your mouth really wide to have it. What really got me was the second day after my surgery, I tried to have a smoothie and I put strawberries in it. And strawberries are actually an acidic fruit, even though they're not as obvious as a lemon or a lime or anything. Even that small amount of acid killed my throat. I had one sip of that smoothie and it was terrible. Also, really try to limit your movement. I just sat on the couch mainly. Getting up and walking is good, but even getting up and walking upstairs was more than I knew I should have been doing, just for the first few days especially, and then you can kind of incrementally do more and more. I honestly was not in that much pain, so if you're really scared about the pain, don't worry that much about it. It's more discomfort than anything. It feels weird, it looks weird too. I probably won't show you any pictures or videos of my throat in this just to save face, but it definitely does look weird. It is just scabs in the back of your throat. It's holes. It's weird to see your throat devoid of something that it used to have, but now my throat looks a lot better. It looks almost like a normal throat, obviously without tonsils, so it looks perfectly fine though, and the healing is there. There are some scars back there, but it's definitely good. I was able to go back to eating food 2 weeks after my surgery. That is the recommended amount of time you wait to have food. However, I definitely could have had food before then. I was just worried that it would get stuck on my throat or would hurt too much, so I waited as long as they told me to have solid food again, and waited a little bit longer to have things like chips or popcorn that I knew would irritate it, because it still was pretty sensitive even a month after my surgery, but obviously it's been 2.5 months now and I'm fine, so don't be too worried about it. Anyway, I don't want to make this video too long, but I hope that you guys can kind of understand the process of my tonsillectomy, the recovery afterwards, which really wasn't that bad. And if you have any questions, or you're about to have a tonsillectomy and you're nervous, comment down below or like this video. Let me know if you want more videos on this or anything, honestly. I hope that this really helped you guys if this is what you were looking for. If not, then you know more about a tonsillectomy than you did at the beginning. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!